Welcome to this demonstration video where we will showcase the expansion of the RedSwan CRE Marketplace. I will be demonstrating our primary issuance platform and how investors will go about making investments in commercial real estate-backed digital securities on our site. Before I dive into it, please note that this video is for investors based outside of the United States only. If you are a US investor, please do not continue and view the accompanying video we have produced for our domestic audience. Let's get started. For the purposes of this demo, I'm assuming you already have an account in our marketplace, and perhaps you have already browsed some of our deals and expressed interest. I will now be demonstrating how one actually goes about investing in an offering. As you can see here, I'm logged into the RedSwan Marketplace as Sam Chang, a fictitious international investor based in Hong Kong. For the purposes of this demo, we'll assume that Sam has done his due diligence and is interested in buying this property right here with ticker 1717 for a building based in Houston, in the city of Houston, United States. So I'll click into the listing. So once we're in here, there's a couple of places we can navigate to get to the transactions and investing environment. We can click exchange, this exchange link up here, and then log in to exchange, or we can click the buy button. Either way, you're going to get to the same place. So assume Sam clicks buy. And since this is Sam's very first investment, a questionnaire is going to come up that asks for a little bit more details about him to help the RedSwan team serve him better. So let's dive right into it. So the first question, are you an individual or institutional investor? So it's definitely individual. Are you a Regulation D or Regulation S investor? So again, all investors that are based outside the United States in RedSwan deals are considered Regulation S. So we'll click this button, this bubble right here. The next question asks what type of institutional investor you are. So again, for some of you listening to this recording, you might be representing an investing entity such as a family office, hedge fund, private equity firm, or broker-dealer. In that case, you definitely want to indicate what type of institution that you represent. But of course, in Sam's case, he's just an individual investing for himself, so he can skip this question. Moving along, what property types are you most interested in? So we'll assume Sam likes apartments, commercial, and retail. What property class are you interested in? We'll assume Sam just likes Class A. How much commercial real estate do you currently own? We'll assume Sam has under $1 million. And then finally, here's a question on the investment risk tolerance level, and we'll assume that Sam is a moderately aggressive investor. So once we proceed, you'll be taken to this screen, and you just select if you're an individual or a business representing a business entity that's investing. So again, it's in our case, this would be an individual, and then we start a profile. Which brings us to this page, and there's only two pretty simple, straightforward forms that we need to fill out. As you can see to the left here, there's this information page, and then a KYC section where we ask you to upload identifying documents that prove your identity, as well as your address. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so once Sam has done finishing his information, providing his information, and uploaded his proof of identity and address, we have a screen, this review screen for his answers, and then we click next, and then give our consent, and then we submit our profile for the RedSwan team to review and approve. So once the profile is approved, Sam later logs back into the RedSwan CRE Marketplace, he'll notice that there's actually a new link at the top that appears called Dashboard. Basically, that's a new quick access. So we'll go back there. Let's show that again. So this is the new quick access button that allows Sam to quickly get into the investing and transacting environment. So click that, and now Sam ready to invest right in here. So as we said earlier, Sam is interested in the 1717 property, so we'll scroll down and find that. You see that's right here, and then we click the buy button. Okay, so this is the buy shares request form. So Sam needs to know how many shares he would like to invest. So as you can see here, the minimum number of shares that can be invested in this particular deal is $33,000. Sorry, 33,000, and at a price of $1 per share. The minimum investment effectively is $33,000, as you can see right here. So we'll assume that Sam wants to invest 100,000 quantity, so that would equate to $100,000. So the way that this works is, now if you go to the left, you'll see that there's a message here that says no balance is found. So the way that this works is Sam needs to first deposit $100,000 to RedSwan, and then indicate here the number of shares he's buying, and then he will then send complete the buy shares request. So first he needs to deposit the money. So he clicks deposit funds. Then this screen comes up, and you want to make sure that under step 1 that the 1717 business net is selected. And then the second step would be to actually send the money, and then you can see that the wire instructions are right here. So offline, Sam would send $100,000 using these wire instructions. After he sends that, he comes back in here and then sends a deposit alert to RedSwan. So when he clicks the deposit button, a pop-up window comes up which allows Sam to provide details about the wire transfer that he made. So the two fields that are definitely required are the amount deposited and the sending bank name. But in order for the RedSwan side to be able to track the payment easier, the more information that is provided, the better. So we'll assume that Sam provides all the information. Of course, this is all fictitious information for the purposes of this demonstration. And here, Sam can, if he wants, just provide some memo or details about the wire. So we send a deposit alert to RedSwan. So once RedSwan sees the deposit, they will confirm it, and then you will receive a, in this case, Sam will receive a system-generated email confirming the deposit. Therefore, when he goes back, and tries to buy the property, you'll notice that now $100,000 appears in the balance in the balances for this deal under Sam's name. So now he can continue with the buy shares process. So he deposits 100,000 for 100,000 shares. So he puts 100,000 down here, and then sends and then completes the buy shares request. Once he comes, now he'll be brought to this contract signing page, and you'll notice that there's two contracts that need to be signed. The first is an investment advisory contract. This contract is only required for a person's very first investment deal. Afterwards, it no longer needs to be signed again. Basically, this contract establishes an investment advisory relationship between the client and RedSwan. The second contract is basically the deal-specific subscription agreement. So every deal will have a subscription agreement that needs to be signed. And again, the investment advisory contract is just for an investor's very first deal. So let's go ahead and sign these contracts. So in both cases, the DocuSign environment pops up, and you just go ahead and sign the documents. And now we process the subscription agreement. So now RedSwan has both the monies for the investment as well as the subscription agreement and the investment advisory contract. So once RedSwan sees the signed documents, when Sam comes back into his dashboard and goes to My Portfolio, you can see there's a tab on the left called My Portfolio. You will see that he is now the proud owner of 100,000 shares of 1717 BISNet. And so that's basically it. That's the whole buy process. As you can see, the process is straightforward and simple. Before we conclude, I want to remind you that before making an investment, please take advantage of our marketplace to do your due diligence and review the private placement memorandum that accompanies each deal. That concludes our video. We wish you much investing success with digital securities issued by RedSwan CRE, and we look forward to serving you as our client.